Hey everybody, welcome to Radio EXOTICA FM. We welcome you to a absolutely amazing Monday Blues night. Unfortunately, we will not be playing music tonight, but we will continue with the music run as soon as we are done with this Olympic Roundup week. It's amazing to see such great athletes coming in to the Olympics, including South Africa's own Chad le Clos, who finished in 5th place for the semis and qualified for the finals of his swimming event. Cameron van der Burg qualified and actually made it right through and claimed silver for South Africa and South Africa's first medal, which means that we hold currently with 1 silver medal in the Olympics. There's a lot of Olympic events, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're going to be talking about it all here on Radio EXOTICA FM live tonight. It is 9:13 Central African time. It is a beautiful night, really cool, not too cold tonight, really nice. So if you guys are out there, let us know what you think of the Olympic Games and just of tonight in general, of what's been going on. In other news though, the Lions unfortunately lost on the weekend to the Hurricanes. They lost, and it was a narrow victory at first, but then eventually the Hurricanes pulled away to claim a 23 victory over the Lions. But the Lions can proudly say that they made it into the finals of the Super Rugby 2016 season, having been the only South African team to actually compete with the New Zealand teams. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about different sports and a lot about different things coming up. But first, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different show from now until next week, Thursday. We're going to be doing a talk show as well. You guys can now log on to the live radioexotica.webs.com website. It's going to be unbelievable. It's got everything you could possibly need. It's got talk, it's got music, and of course it's got every single one of the shows that I have done and that we at Radio EXOTICA FM have done since the beginning of Radio EXOTICA FM. Of course, there are a very select few shows that were unfortunately deleted by Spreaker originally when the plan exceeded its limit, but those are beyond our control. Right now, though, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Olympics, as well as a massive amount about what's been going on in the week. Now, we hit off Monday, and we've still got a really, really long week ahead of us. But for those of you who think that it's going to be a downer, please remember that Radio EXOTICA FM make your Monday blues into Tappin' Tuesdays, Wacky Wednesdays, and Throwback Thursdays, as well as, of course, Sultry Smooth Sundays. Now, you can also send in all your music requests into Radio EXOTICA FM. Use the chat section, comment, use whatever system you want. You can send it in, and we will get to it as soon as we possibly can. Another thing that we're going to be talking about right now is, I don't know if you guys out there have heard, but definitely something to look forward to is golf back in the Olympics. Golf has not been in the Olympics in absolute years. In fact, I think this is the first time it's been in the Olympics, but it's going to get off to a rounding start with local South Africans Jaco van Zyl, Brandon Grace, and Hayden Porteous coming in to represent our country. Now, a lot of you guys out there are saying, yes, but what about the Zika virus? What has been happening with the Zika virus? How many people are out because of the Zika virus, and how many has it affected? Well, I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of people and a lot of athletes that have withdrawn from the Olympics due to the Zika virus, but we are glad to report that there have been no cases of major Zika virus outbreak as of now, as well as Brazil saying that it is the winter season, and therefore, since it is not so warm and not so hot, the mosquitoes will stay quite far away, and therefore you don't need to worry as much as you usually do about the Zika virus. Now, even though a lot of athletes have withdrawn, there are a lot of athletes still in the Olympics, and by far it is setting up to be a major sporting event like usual. Brazil have had its share of troubles in hosting the Olympics. It has had major financial troubles, being downgraded from investment grade to junk status by the investment boards of the world, such as Standard & Poor's, Fitch, and Moody's. Unfortunately as well, it has been hit with the Zika virus, and then straight away it was hit with a withdrawal of a couple Olympiads, including Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth in golf, just to name a few. Well, we're here to tell you that gladly the Olympics is still rolling on. USA currently lead the medal standing, but China are in a third place. South Africa only one silver medal at the moment, but we hope that our boys out there can do exceptionally well to carry on with their game. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about other sports as well. In recent news, England managed to beat Pakistan in a narrow victory after Pakistan collapsed on the final day of the test. That means that Pakistan go into this third and final test needing to win in order to level the series. Pakistan showed an unbelievable game when they brought England almost to its knees, but unfortunately managed to just collapse in the final day against England. It was a great test match, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you who are watching, for those of you who didn't watch, you can go and enjoy it. It is a great game to watch. It's beautiful, and it just shows that Pakistan are definitely a force to be reckoned with, and that England need to just watch out, because Pakistan are not one of the walkover teams that everyone thought they were these days. In other news, Sri Lanka actually beat Australia in the first test and are now facing them in the second. It has been an amazing turnabout for Sri Lanka after a massive defeat to England with their new side. They have been facing off against Australia, and hopefully they can do really well, as this is a great showing from the young, brand new side. In other news, we've got a couple other stories coming up, but we've got a topic request here. It is talk about what happened in the South African elections. And you know what? Thank you out there, David. David, whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're listening to this, because we're going to be talking a lot about the elections. The elections have been finalized, everything has been done, and now there are 2 weeks left until municipalities are going to be finalized and in order. What happened, in short, is that the ANC have lost their foothold in the capital. They lost the vote out to the DA, who won Tshwane, which includes the capital of South Africa, or one of them, Pretoria. Now, they did not win, the DA did not win Johannesburg. They narrowly lost out with 38% of the vote to DA's 44%, but they can still take Joburg from the ANC if they were to form a coalition with the likes of the EFF. The EFF's head, Julius Malema, sorry about that. But the EFF's head, Julius Malema, has stated that he is open to hear coalition talks from any party excluding the ANC, as he says he will never ever form into a coalition with the ANC's corrupt party. Now, that is Julius Malema's statement. The DA, Mamusi Maimane, he has stated that he is willing to form a coalition with anyone, including the EFF, except as well he is excluding the ANC from that, but he is willing to form a coalition with the EFF if they can come to a proper negotiation and a proper compromise. As such, the EFF has stated that they do not need a coalition, but are open to hearing about coalition talks. A coalition would mean that the ANC would lose Johannesburg, and also that if the DA form a coalition in Tshwane with the EFF, or even with other parties to get 2 more seats, then they can have a full-on majority and lock down Tshwane from the ANC, keeping them away and securing the municipality that they won. There has been much talk about what happened in Johannesburg and how the DA lost Johannesburg to the ANC. But what basically happened was the DA came in with a strong pull in Nelson Mandela Bay and Tshwane, but that was just not enough to win Johannesburg. Even though there were primary votes and a lot of votes coming the way of the DA, they could not win against the ANC. Of course, we never know what could happen if they do form a coalition with the EFF, who got 11% of the vote, very surprisingly, in this election. They are very happy with that. But if they form a coalition with the DA, that will mean that they could lock down and secure Johannesburg as another metro under the DA and EFF coalition rule. Now, this does not mean a merger. The DA won't be merging with any parties. A coalition just means a co-run government. In other words, that their municipalities that they have won will combine their votes. The municipalities that the two parties have won, through votes will combine, and also that they can form a coalition in a municipality that one or the other party has won, in order to secure that municipality or that metro from another party interfering. Now, you need 50% of the vote at least to secure a majority vote and thereby secure the metro which you have voted, which you are controlling at the moment. But one of the things that we are talking about right now is how and why the DA would form a coalition with the EFF. How they would form a coalition with the EFF, how would that work? We want to know your opinions. Please just chat us up here. We've got the chat open right here. We're waiting for your comments in. We do have other platforms. You can use the other platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can even use YouTube on this specific broadcast. But we recommend that you use the chat feature here. It just makes it easier for us at Radio Exotica FM, and it also makes it easier for you because you will immediately be responded to as opposed to being responded in later chats or in later shows. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the elections, but first, we've got another topic request coming in, and this is coming in all through Facebook. A lot of you guys have been doing it through Facebook, but this is another one coming in through, this is coming in through Twitter, not through Facebook. Excuse me for that mistake. This request comes in from a Daniel Porteous. Daniel Porteous says, please talk about these elections as opposed to elections in the USA. Now, for those of you who don't know, these elections were municipal elections. They were local elections. For those around the world listening, the local elections in South Africa work as follows. There are a number of seats in each metro and in each council that are up for grabs, and you, as the people, vote. And when you vote, your vote counts towards those municipalities and towards those seats. If people vote enough for the party, they get a majority seat and therefore win the metro and or municipality. Now, majority of the municipalities these days are under control of mixed parties. There are so many different parties in South Africa at the moment vying and struggling to get votes and to remain in power and or to gain power in their selected metros. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about this coming week. But just getting back to it, the difference between this and the American elections, the major difference, is that the American elections are not, and I stress this, the American elections are not a municipal or local elections. These are national elections to elect a president. The major difference between even that and our presidential elections is that in America, you vote for a person who is leading a party. Example, you can vote for Hillary Clinton, who is leading and is the representative candidate of the Democratic Party, or you can vote for Donald Trump, who is the Republicans' candidate and leads the Republican Party. But you vote for the people themselves, whereas in our elections, you vote for the party. You vote for the ANC or the DA in total to come into power, and they vote within themselves to decide who will be president of that party. Now, if the party wins the national elections, the next national elections in South Africa are in 2019. If they do win those elections, they will then decide who will become president within that party. Of course, you can impeach the president if you do not like it. You can, if there is a unanimous vote or a call for impeachment, the president can be impeached, as was almost the case with Jacob Zuma multiple times. Now, due to these elections being swung in favor of opposition parties and not of the ANC, our currency has gone up quite a bit, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about that marketing side of things a little bit later. Right now, we're heading back a little bit to the sports. We are definitely pumped for Olympic season. It is from the 5th of August till the 21st of August. It is unbelievable. And there are just so many sports going on. SuperSport here in South Africa are the official broadcaster of every single Olympic sport. They will be showing all of them live. They have created brand new channels specifically just to show the Olympics live, and it's been unbelievable. In soccer, unfortunately, South Africa lost 1-0 to Denmark, but Brazil drew with Iraq 0-0, and that is a major upset for South Africa, but it can also be a very good thing since Brazil drew with Iraq. Now, Iraq are not a side typically known for being able to hold their own against big league teams such as Brazil, especially a world-class team such as Brazil. But they managed to hold them off to a 0-0 draw. Now, South Africa also held off Brazil to a 0-0 draw the time they faced them in the first game. But against Denmark, they just could not hold out and lost narrowly in a 1-0 defeat. South Africa still have a good chance of qualifying, but in the women's group, they have less of a chance as they lost to Sweden and they lost to China. This put a damper on the South African women's team under 23's chance of qualifying for the next round. But the men's team are still looking in good shape, and we hope that you guys out there will support them if you're South African. If you're not South African, please tell us who you are supporting, who you want to win, and why you want them to win. What are your goals? What do you think is going to happen in these Olympics? We want to know it all here at Radio Exotica FM. There's a lot of stuff that we have to talk about. There's a lot of things that we're going to get through, and since this is a talk-only show, that is definitely going to be the main focus. We're just past 15 minutes into the show. It is 27 minutes past 9, and it is a beautiful night here in Johannesburg. Central African time, of course, is the time, 27 minutes past 9 again. Now, one of the other things that we're going to be talking about is the American elections as an entity in itself. Donald Trump has been campaigning heavily to run as president, and it seems ever more likely as the days roll by that he will become president. Of course, Hillary Clinton will not give up without a fight, and we know that you guys will make the right decision. So tell us, all the American people, this is to the American people out there, my American listeners out there. Thank you guys so much for listening, first of all. Thank every single person, first of all, for listening out there. It has just been such an amazing response since I started the show. I actually started out with one listener, that being myself, and now I have gone all the way up to a massive amount of listeners. Now, that is thanks entirely to you guys. So thank you guys out there for listening. One of the things we're going to be talking about is the American elections. We're talking about it right now. So tell us, the American listeners out there, who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win? And what do you think the country would look like if said person wins the elections? Examples, if you want Donald Trump to win, what do you think the country would be run like? And how do you think it would affect the global economy and the global markets based off America if Donald Trump were to win? Also, if you want Hillary Clinton to win, what would that be like? Would Hillary be a good president? Would she not be a good president? Well, that's the beauty of democracy. You vote, you decide. It is the most unbelievable way of doing things in this world, and it is glorious to see that elections in America are going absolutely swimmingly so far. The elections are coming up, and they will be a whopping elections and a beauty to behold, because we will have so many different topics coming in through those elections and so many different arguments between the two sides, between the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, the DMC has just finished. The Democratic Convention has finished and wrapped up, and the Republican Convention as well has wrapped up. There are some major highlights for you guys to check out of that. And if you guys want a good laugh, you can always check out The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. He is the most unbelievable comedian, in my opinion, and I think that you guys should really go check him out to just see from a good, fair point of view, inverted commas and quotes there, a good, fair point of view, how the elections are going so far. Now, the other thing that we were talking about was the Olympics, but now we've got a third topic coming in. All these requests are coming in through other platforms, which is fine, but we suggest that you do put them in through the chat section, because the chat section will create a much easier flow of comments and flow of requests for us here at Radio Exotica, and for you in the long run, because your comments will be taken before we take other people's comments from other platforms, as it's much easier to look at the chat section or the comment section for you guys than it is to look at other platforms. Now, one of the comments though that we got in earlier just before the show started was, can you please talk about general life so far, and also about what's going to be happening in the next holidays? Well, you know what, that is an interesting topic, and I will be talking about that in much more detail come the time, but right now we'll just give a little bit of a hint of what's to come. We have got another holiday special coming up as soon as the other holidays roll around. Of course, we've just come back from holiday. Some of you guys are still on holiday and taking it beautifully. In America, I know a lot of you guys are on holiday, but here in South Africa, or sorry, should I say vacation? You guys are on vacation, but a lot of you guys here in South Africa have already come back. So tell us, what's your guys' week going like? How's everything planned? And what do you guys plan to do in America on your holidays? For those of you who are not on holiday, how did it go? How did everything go? That is pretty much what we are going to be talking about. So please send us in all your requests. Now, another thing is, what's happening with traveling in general? Well, traveling has actually become a much, much cheaper way of has become a much cheaper luxury, should I say, because the price of oil to America, especially, and in America, has gone down drastically. So if you guys want to travel, now is the time. For South Africans, we can even travel because the rand to the pound has improved drastically and has not been this low, or should I say this high, from the rand's point of view, but low from the pound's point of view, since 2015 or even 2014. Now, to the dollar, of course, it is also improving ever so little. To the shekel, to the Israeli shekel, it is improving as well. It is currently standing at 357 to the shekel, at 1362 to the dollar, at 1791 to the pound, and at 1522 to the euro. Those were the standings just before the show, so if they changed, please excuse us here. Those were the current currencies and their standings to the rand as of before the show. So, another thing that we're going to be talking about for the last 10 minutes of this show is we're going to be talking about you guys in general. Now, we got a lot of feedback coming in, telling us and stating whether we should have a half an hour broadcast or a 45-minute broadcast. And you guys have opted to keep it at 30 minutes. Now, we have counted all of your guys' votes towards that, and it is won with quite a landslide majority, with only 10% of the votes coming in being for opting for a 45-minute show. So the rest of you guys have voted, and it is unanimous. It will remain a 30-minute show, at least for the near future. Now, those of you who don't know what's going on or who have just tuned in again, and to my new listeners out there, this is Radio Exotica FM. This is a show for you, by you, and made entirely for the purpose of entertaining you. It is no benefit towards me. In fact, I have spent money on this show. I do not do advertisements on the show. I don't believe in advertisements on this show as of the current moment, because of three reasons. One of them is I don't believe that you guys deserve to listen to advertisements. I believe that if you would like to listen to advertisements, or if you think that that's a normal way to have a show of my size, then you can go on to normal radio stations and listen to that. I believe that you guys come here to get away from advertisements and get away from people trying to just make a quick buck. Second reason is I believe that since you guys don't want advertisements, why should I give it to you? The entire purpose of Radio Exotica FM is for you, by you, and made entirely for the purpose of entertaining you. It is completely request-based, as all of our topics and all of our song requests come in from you guys. Everything that we talk about and everything we play is solely based off requests from you guys, and we try to get to all of them as much as we can and as quick as we can. So please make sure that you tune in to Radio Exotica FM in the near and distant future, as we will not be changing anytime soon, and we will not be having ads. Finally, the third reason why we don't have advertisements is because a show of my capacity, even though it is quite large at the moment, does not deserve to have or warrant to have advertisements. I personally do not need the money at the moment, so I'm not going to try and campaign for the money. I'm not going to try and keep Radio Exotica going at that, using that medium. Of course, if you guys want to help, that's great, but we do not need the help at the moment, so thank you guys so much. But how you guys can help the most is simply by listening and tuning in. The more of you guys that listen, the better Radio Exotica does, the better I feel about doing it, and the more exciting it is to listen and tune in, because there are requests coming in from all diverse cultures and from everywhere in the world, and that is the beauty of Radio Exotica FM. It unites the requests, and it shows such a diverse opinion and such intellectual thought coming in from all different parts of the globe. Now, we were talking about you, and we're going to continue talking about you. It is 36 minutes past 9. You're live on Radio Exotica FM. You guys have been listening, and you guys will listen, and I'm so grateful for your listenership. So thank you guys once again. Now, we were talking about you, and one of the things that we've done for you is we have created the Radio Exotica FM website. I've been speaking about this a lot. It unfortunately went down today, but it will be back up within a week, we assure you. Now, for those of you who haven't checked it out, or who have checked it out but don't really know how or what it is its purpose is. RadioExotica.webs.com is the website for all things Radio Exotica FM. It is an unbelievable website showcasing just how easy it is to make a radio show with our easy tips and guides, as well as behind the scenes interviews with me, radio DJ Twister, as well as all of my production staff, which don't really account for many, but they are good people and I'm glad to be working with them. Another thing is it just shows you that you can do a show straight off a cell phone, as I do most of the time. Your Radio Exotica FM, Spreaker.com allows you to easily create a show, and we show you exactly how to create a show and what to do in our easy tips. Finally, there are also special interviews that you do not find on the regular show of Radio Exotica FM, as well as all of the archived shows. Not from the beginning. Unfortunately, Spreaker did delete some of the old Radio Exotica, but if you guys have it, please send it in. You can email nbloch13@gmail.com. That's nbloch13@gmail.com, and we will definitely appreciate if you guys have the old shows, as we do not have record of the first 10 or 15 shows. Unfortunately, it was beyond our control. Spreaker did delete those shows. Now, we also have something very, very special on the Radio Exotica website, and that is a weekly show by a guest DJ. It could be sports, it could be weather, it could be news, it could be music, it could be anything on earth. Entertainment all the time, and RadioExotica.webs.com is exactly the same. It is unbelievable to note how many people are actually interested in doing shows and are actually interested in listening to a diverse type of show that does not just have a repetitive nature in it the entire time. Therefore, RadioExotica.webs.com has provided you with a medium. If you guys would want to be part of the show, if you guys want to guest DJ, please go ahead and email us at nbloch13@gmail.com, or you could Facebook message me or tweet me at Ultimate Tornado. That is Ultimate Tornado. Now, another thing, of course, that we've been doing is we have been rocking it with the website's final feature, which is a weekly blog on all stuff from all over the world, and that is the only thing that is not request-based. That is just to thank you guys, and it is a special treat made by me, DJ Twister, every single week. We hope that you guys have enjoyed the show. We are going to end off in about 2 minutes. We just have a couple shout-outs to get to, so please just bear with us, because we are going to have some very cool shout-outs, and then we are going to end the show for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening. We've got a couple shout-outs coming in. One of them is from a Natalia. Natalia shouts out to every single person who knows her, and to the entire English team competing at the Olympics. She wishes them the best of luck and hopes that they bring home all the gold. Well, that's an amazing shout-out. We've got another one coming in from a Ricardo from Brazil. He says that my team will definitely win, and hashtag no Zika virus will affect us. That's an amazing shout out. We hope you guys have enjoyed these shout outs. There are a couple more that we're going to be getting to, but we are just going to be giving a few more shout outs right now. Actually, there was a different plan, but we are going to switch things up here. Radio Exotica FM, very, very unpredictable all the time. We have another shout out coming in, and this shout out comes in. Oh, wow, thank you. This is from Daniel. He says, thank you for my request, and thank you for listening to everything that I had to say, as well as giving your own point of view. And a shout out to you, DJ Twister, for everything that you've done. Well, thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. That is all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will definitely be seeing you guys soon. Once again, I am DJ Twister. This is Radio Exotica FM, signing off and saying have a great night or day, depending on where you are. Have a great Olympic season. We will see you guys tomorrow night for Tap-In Tuesdays, or in fact now it's Talk-In Tuesdays. And as always, live easy. Thank you guys for listening.